Your hair color is making you look older, not your wrinkles, not your weight, not your age, your hair color. And the most painful part of that truth is that you probably paid someone good money to put it there. Right now, there are women all across the United States, women in their 60s, 70s, even their 50s, sitting in salon chairs, walking out with color that is quietly adding 5, 7, even 10 years to their face. And their stylists are not telling them. Their mirrors are not telling them. And their friends are too polite to say a word. But this video will. Today we are breaking down the 5 worst hair colors draining the life out of mature faces right now, and the 5 best shades that can genuinely restore warmth, softness, and youth back to your look. No fluff, no filters, just the truth about color and what it is actually doing to your face after 60. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. And if nobody has ever sat down and broken this down for you clearly, honestly, and without trying to sell you something, that is exactly why this channel exists. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because what you are about to hear is the kind of information your stylist should have been giving you for free at every single appointment. Worst color number 1, jet black. Let's start with the one that is going to make some of you uncomfortable. Jet black. Jet black feels powerful. It always has. It is bold. It is deliberate. It is the kind of color that commands a room. For decades, it probably did exactly that for you. But after 60, that same power turns against your face in ways that are happening whether you see them or not. Here is what jet black does to mature skin scientifically. As your skin loses its natural pigment and collagen, it becomes lighter, softer, and more delicate in tone. Jet black against that backdrop creates what colorists call severe contrast. A sharp, unforgiving line between the darkness of your hair and the lightness of your skin. And that contrast does not frame your face, it shadows it. Every fine line gets deeper. Every under-eye circle gets darker. Every crease becomes more visible. Not because they got worse, but because jet black pulls the eye downward and inward, directly into the parts of your face you are least trying to highlight. There is also the thinning factor. After menopause, estrogen levels drop sharply and hair follicles respond. Hair becomes finer, less dense, and the scalp becomes more visible through the strands. Against jet black, that visibility is maximized. A dark scalp showing through dark hair reads immediately as thinning, even if the actual hair loss is minimal. And then there is the maintenance that nobody talks about honestly. Jet black and gray roots are the harshest combination in the entire color spectrum. There is no softening it, no growing it out gracefully. The moment gray comes in against jet black, the contrast screams, and it does so within 3 to 4 weeks of your last appointment. That means more frequent coloring, more chemical exposure on hair that is already drier, more porous, and more fragile than it was at 30. You are essentially putting your hair through repeated stress to maintain a color that is simultaneously stressing your face. Now, before we get to worst color number 2, I want to ask you something directly. How many years have you been wearing the same hair color without questioning whether it is still working for you? 5 years? 10? 20? Drop that number in the comments right now. I read every single one, and I promise you, you are going to see your answer reflected back at you dozens of times, from women watching this exact video from every corner of the United States. Because this is not a rare problem. This is the most common and most invisible beauty mistake women over 60 are making. And it is costing them years off their appearance every single day. Stay with me. Worst color number 2, platinum blonde. This one is going to start some arguments in the comments. And good, because this conversation needs to happen. Now listen. The idea behind going platinum after 60 makes complete logical sense on the surface. Your hair is already going lighter. Gray is coming in. So why not just go all the way light and make it intentional? Why not own it fully and go platinum? Here is why. Platinum blonde is not just light, it is icy. It carries cool undertones, blue, silver, and white, that sit on the absolute coldest end of the color spectrum. And mature skin after 60 is already trending cooler, already trending paler, already losing that natural warmth that once balanced a bold color effortlessly. So when you put platinum blonde, a cold color, against skin that has already lost much of its warmth, you are putting cold against cold. And the result is not glamorous. The result is a face that disappears. On fair skin, platinum creates a near invisible effect. The hair blends into the skin tone rather than framing it, and the face loses all definition. The eyes look tired, the cheeks look hollow. The entire face reads as washed out. Not silver screen glamorous, but genuinely unwell. On medium olive or deeper skin tones, the problem shifts but does not improve. Instead of disappearing, platinum creates a jarring artificial contrast that the brain immediately registers as wrong. It does not look intentional. It looks like a coloring mistake. And then there is what platinum does to the hair itself. Because this is where the real damage lives. Platinum does not happen from a single box of dye. Platinum requires bleaching, full strand bleaching, often multiple bleaching sessions to lift the hair from its natural or previously colored base all the way to the pale yellow canvas that toner can then turn white or silver. And on hair that is already dealing with the natural protein loss, increased porosity, and reduced moisture retention that comes with aging, bleaching is not just a chemical service. It is structural damage. Breakage increases. Split ends multiply. The strand itself becomes brittle and dull, the exact opposite of the luminous, shining result you walked into the salon hoping for. And that brittleness does not reverse easily. It grows out. Slowly. Worst color number 3. Fire engine red and vivid. Cherry red hair is alive. There is genuinely no other way to describe it. It moves differently in light. It catches the eye across a room. It carries energy that almost no other color can match. And that is exactly why so many women are drawn to it, especially after 60, when the impulse to be seen, to be bold, to refuse to disappear is at its strongest. That impulse is right. The execution, when it goes vivid, is where things go wrong. Rosacea affects approximately 16 million Americans. The majority of them are women, and the majority of those women are over 50. Beyond diagnosed rosacea, visible capillaries, uneven skin tone, and natural facial redness all increase with age as the skin thins and blood vessels become more visible beneath the surface. Vivid red hair, cherry red, fire engine red, bright copper red, does not cancel that facial redness. It mirrors it. The eye moves back and forth between the red in the hair and the red in the skin, and reads the combination as inflammation. The complexion looks irritated. The skin looks reactive. The overall impression is discomfort rather than vitality. There is also the fade problem, and red fades faster than any other color on the spectrum. The pigment molecules in red hair dye are the smallest of all color molecules, which means they exit the hair shaft first and fastest. Within 2 to 3 weeks of a vivid red service, the color begins shifting. By week 4, it has moved into brassiness. By week 6, it is uneven. Darker at the roots, orangey at the midshaft, faded at the ends. That uneven fade does not look like natural variation. It looks like neglect. Red pigment bonds deeply into the cortex of the hair strand. Removing it requires strong bleach or color remover, multiple sessions, significant damage, and a long road back to anything neutral. Auburn, warm red-brown, cinnamon brown, and soft copper sit in the same warm family as vivid red, but behave completely differently against mature skin. They harmonize with facial redness rather than competing with it. They fade gracefully into warm brown tones rather than into orange brassiness. And they carry the same energy, the same warmth, the same refusal to be ignored, just delivered in a way that works with your face rather than fighting it. If you have been watching this and recognizing your own hair color in these descriptions, do not feel embarrassed, feel informed. There is a significant difference between those two things. Every woman who has ever worn jet black past 60, or sat through a platinum bleaching session, or walked out with vivid red and felt something was slightly off, was not making a mistake born of vanity. She was making a decision without the right information. That is what this channel is built to change. If nobody in your life, not your stylist, not your friends, not a single YouTube video before this one, has ever broken this down for you with this level of honesty and specificity, then you already know what to do. Subscribe to this channel right now. Turn on your notifications, because every video on here is built exactly like this one. Real information, real science, real results. No recycled advice, no generic beauty tips. Just the truth. Worst color number 4, dark eggplant and deep plum purple. Purple has become something of a signature for women over 60 who refuse to follow the rules. And honestly, that spirit deserves every bit of celebration it gets. The problem is not the attitude. The problem is specifically dark eggplant and deep plum, and what they do to mature skin in real lighting, in real life, outside of the salon mirror. Dark purple does not exist naturally in human hair. Not at any age, not in any culture, not in any part of the world. And the human brain, which is extraordinarily good at reading faces and detecting what belongs and what does not, registers unnatural hair color as artificial immediately. That automatic recognition, that split-second read of "this is not natural," paradoxically makes the person wearing it look older rather than freer. Beyond the perception issue, dark, cool purples pull blue and gray undertones directly out of mature skin. The complexion appears shadowed. The area under the eyes darkens. The jawline loses definition. The overall face looks heavier and more drawn. Again, not because anything physically changed, but because the color is pulling the wrong tones forward. And in the lighting where most American women actually live their lives, fluorescent office lights, grocery store lighting, church halls, family gatherings, dark purple goes completely flat. It loses every dimension it had in the salon. What looked edgy and intentional becomes muddy and dull within 48 hours of stepping outside. Porous, aging hair grabs purple pigment aggressively at the roots and unevenly through the lengths, creating patchy, inconsistent color within weeks. And reversing dark purple requires bleach, strong bleach, which is the last thing aging hair needs. Now, before we get into worst color number 5, and then move into the 5 shades that genuinely work, that lift, soften, and add years back to your look, I need to ask you something. Which one of these 4 colors have you worn? Or are wearing right now? Drop it in the comments. Be honest. There is no judgment here. Only women sharing real experiences with each other. And the conversation happening in the comments of this video right now is exactly the conversation that should have been happening in salons for the last 20 years. Stay right here. Because worst color number 5 is the one that genuinely surprises people. And the 5 best colors coming after it are going to completely change how you think about your next salon appointment. Worst color number 5. High contrast, chunky highlights. This is the one that surprises people the most, because chunky highlights do not feel like a mistake. They feel like effort. They feel like dimension and movement and intentional style. And in the 90s and early 2000s, they were exactly that. They were the look. Jennifer Aniston had them. Every magazine cover had them. Every woman who wanted to look current had them. But here is what happened. Skin aged, hair aged, and chunky highlights. That sharp alternating pattern of very dark and very light in thick, clearly defined sections. Stopped working with mature faces and started working against them. High contrast in hair draws the human eye to inconsistency. And the brain reads inconsistency the same way across every surface it examines: skin, fabric, architecture, hair. Inconsistency reads as irregular. Irregular reads as aged. When thick sections of bright highlight sit directly alongside thick sections of dark base color, the contrast is so sharp that it pulls attention away from your eyes, your smile, your expression, and places it entirely on the pattern in your hair. Beyond the visual, distraction, chunky highlights create uneven light mapping across the face. Sections of hair directly beside your face that are very light will catch and reflect light intensely. Sections that are very dark will absorb it. That alternating reflection and absorption throws uneven shadow across your cheekbones, your jawline, and the area around your eyes, emphasizing asymmetry rather than softening it. This technique was engineered for younger, firmer skin, where bold contrast reads as edgy and intentional. On mature skin, that same contrast reads as harsh and aging. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the technique was never designed for the skin you're living in now. And the grow out is among the most unforgiving of any highlighting method. The line between your natural root and the highlighted section is thick, clearly defined, and impossible to ignore after 4 to 5 weeks. The professional alternative that changes everything is called baby lights. Ultrafine, individually painted highlights, each one approximately the width of a single toothpick, applied throughout the hair in a way that creates a diffused, all-over luminosity rather than defined stripes. The result does not look highlighted. It looks like you were simply born with beautiful, naturally sun-kissed hair. Volume appears fuller, roots grow in invisibly. The face is framed in soft, even light rather than alternating shadow and brightness. At most salons across the United States, baby lights run between $120 and $200 per session, and the grow-out window is 10 to 14 weeks. That is less money, less frequent appointments, and less chemical exposure than maintaining chunky highlights. Better result, lower cost, less damage. That is the definition of the right choice. Now we move into the part of this video that changes things, because knowing what to avoid only gets you halfway there. The other half, the half that actually transforms your reflection, is knowing exactly what to reach for instead. These 5 shades are not trends. They are colors that work with the biology of aging skin, with the light conditions of real American life, and with the full range of skin tones carried by women watching this video from every state in this country. Best color number 1, warm chestnut brown. Warm chestnut brown is the most consistently flattering hair color for women over 60 across the widest range of skin tones of any shade on this list. And here is precisely why. Chestnut carries golden and red undertones, warm, rich, and deeply flattering against skin that has lost its natural flush. When warm chestnut sits beside a mature complexion, it does not create contrast. It creates harmony. It mirrors and amplifies whatever warmth the skin still holds, and optically restores the warmth it has lost. The eyes appear brighter. Fine lines soften. The overall face looks genuinely rested rather than tired. Chestnut holds its warmth naturally and typically requires fewer gloss refreshes. Gray roots growing into warm chestnut create a natural gradient that blends rather than clashes, meaning longer periods between salon visits without the appearance of neglect. For thinning hair, chestnut's natural variation in tone creates the optical illusion of depth and density. It is doing more work than it appears to be doing. Best color number 2, honey blonde. Honey blonde is what platinum blonde was attempting to achieve and never quite reached. Because the critical element platinum removed, warmth, is exactly the element honey blonde is built from. Honey sits at the meeting point of golden yellow and soft light brown. It has no icy undertone, no cool cast, only warmth. The kind that catches afternoon light and holds it, that makes the eyes look brighter by contrast, that gives the complexion a sun-kissed glow without a single hour of actual sun exposure. For women with silver or gray bases, honey blonde does something remarkable. It makes the gray red as intentional highlight rather than regrowth. The two tones sit beside each other naturally, as if the honey was always there, as if the gray was planned. That effortless quality is what makes honey blonde look expensive regardless of what it actually cost. Natural sun exposure gently warms honey blonde further over the summer months, creating a beautiful natural balayage effect that costs nothing and looks intentional. Embrace it rather than fight it. Best color number 3, soft auburn and warm copper. Soft auburn is the color that makes strangers stop you and ask which salon you use. It is that specific combination of red and brown, warm without being vivid, rich without being heavy. That reads as simultaneously rare and completely natural. Where vivid red fights mature skin redness, soft auburn harmonizes with it. The warm red undertone in auburn speaks the same language as the natural flush and visible capillaries in mature skin. And the result is a complexion that looks intentionally warm rather than reactively red. The skin and hair read as matched, as coordinated, as belonging to each other. Auburn catches light at every angle differently, which means even fine. Thinning hair carries visible movement and dimension when colored in this family. It is one of the most forgiving colors on the list for women dealing with post-menopausal hair texture changes. For deeper skin tones, request rich mahogany auburn from your colorist. For fair skin tones, request a lighter golden auburn that sits closer to the copper end of the spectrum. For medium and olive tones, the full classic auburn range is yours entirely. Best color number 4, intentional silver and toned gray. Going gray by design, not by default, not by neglect, but by deliberate, informed choice, is one of the most powerful visual decisions available to women over 60 right now. And it requires far less maintenance than almost anything else on this list. Natural silver has a luminosity that no manufactured color can fully replicate. In the right light, and with the right toning, it reflects from every angle simultaneously, giving hair a dimensional, almost metallic quality that is genuinely striking. The difference between gray that ages and gray that elevates is toning. Untreated gray pulls yellow from hard water minerals and environmental exposure, particularly in Midwest states in zones 5 and 6, where hard water is prevalent across Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Missouri. A purple or blue toning shampoo used twice weekly neutralizes that yellow and keeps silver bright, cool, and intentional. A chelating shampoo used once monthly removes mineral buildup entirely. A professional silver gloss treatment, available at most American salons for between $40 and $80, applied every 6 to 8 weeks, is the complete maintenance commitment for gorgeous intentional gray. That is less time, less money, and less chemical exposure than any color service on this list. Best color number 5, baby light highlights. Over any base, baby lights work over every base color on this list. Gray, brown, auburn, natural. It does not matter, because baby lights are not about changing your color. They are about adding light, specifically the soft, diffused, all-over luminosity that makes hair look healthy, full, and genuinely youthful from 20 feet away, and from 2 inches away equally. The technique adds perceived volume to thinning strands by creating tonal variation that the eye reads as depth and density. It frames the face in even, flattering light rather than shadow. It grows out invisibly, 10 to 14 weeks with no defined root line and no harsh contrast emerging. If you take one single actionable decision away from this entire video, if you walk into one salon appointment differently because of something you heard here today, let it be this. Ask for baby lights. Describe the color family you want, honey, chestnut, copper, champagne, and ask for them delivered in baby lights. Watch what happens to your reflection. Here is what every woman watching this video needs to carry with her when she closes this tab. Your hair color is architecture. It frames your face the way a window frames a view, and the wrong frame makes even the most beautiful view look wrong. After 60, your skin is different. Your hair is different. The color strategy has to evolve with both of them, or it quietly works against everything you have built. You do not need a transformation. You do not need to spend thousands. You do not need to be someone different. You need the right shade. And now, for the first time, clearly, honestly, and completely, you know exactly what that looks like. If you watch this entire video, you are exactly who this channel was built for. Someone who wants real answers, delivered with respect, backed by actual information. Not recycled advice, not generic beauty content. The truth. Subscribe to this channel right now. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. And drop a comment below telling me, which of these 5 best colors are you trying first? And where in the United States are you watching from? Tell me your state. I read every single comment on every single video, and I want to hear from you directly. Share this video with one woman in your life who needs to hear it. Your sister, your mother, your best friend. The woman in your neighborhood who has been wearing jet black for 15 years and deserves better information than she has been getting. Because this is what this channel is here to do. See you in the next video.